this, but can I get a side of ranch?
Hey, you know what this needs? A little ranch.
I actually specifically remember asking for a side of ranch. Yeah.
Can I get some ranch?
Oh, everything is wonderful. But can I get a side of ranch? Okay, better that time. Yay, we did it.
We did it.
Woo! Welcome to Can I Get Some Ranch, everyone. I'm here with my friend Jessica Brill, right? Did I say that right?
You can go by Jess, though. I go by Jess.
Yeah, well, I feel like Jess Brill, I mean, that's a cooler name for sure, but I feel like people need to know it's Jessica because then they'll make up their own thing.
Yes.
They'll be like, Saya. I don't know.
Right.
I can't make up
Yeah,
another
Jessica
name.
with a C.
Jessica with a C.
Yep.
What other way?
I've met a Jessica with a K, and I was pretty jealous because their parents were obviously more creative than mine. And wanted to take a risk, so yeah.
The K. Maybe they're just big Kardashian fans.
Aren't we all?
No.
No, I mean, I'm not, but just, people are.
You're like some people. I don't watch them ever or anything. No, I'm obsessed with Courtney and Travis, though. I think that they're like the cutest thing ever. But other than that, no.
I follow her nail artist.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
she's pretty great.
Is she?
Mm-hmm. I've never been to her, had her do my nails, but
Yeah.
she will someday. She'll want to.
Jessica is an actress. If you don't follow her, or Jess, sorry, is an actress. So make sure you check her out. But she also has lived the life of a server for how long?
Oh, on and off since my first serving job was the summer going into my sophomore year of college.
Okay.
So do I have to give the date? I don't
No,
have to tell the year.
no,
Yeah.
you don't. People don't
I
need
mean,
to know
like, we
your
can
age.
be like obscure about my age. Like I'm just, I don't really care, but today I do. So for sure.
enough years to know what it's like.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So I did it that summer at a Village Inn.
Oh,
Which not even, do you know what that is?
no.
It's like an IHOP, a Denny's of the South. That are typically like right off of highway exits, like trucks, like not truck stops because it was in town, but
Okay.
like they're usually off of
Like the ones where you're like, where do these people live to work here kind of place? Like where you're like.
no. Tallahassee has like population at least, but
okay. Oh, you're from Tallahassee.
yeah,
Oh.
the capital city.
Yeah, the one that everybody forgets is part of Florida, I feel, because it's
Yes.
in the panhandle, right? Yeah, it's the only part of Florida that people, I feel like, don't make fun of, only because they forget about it.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, it's an easy one, but it's because it's unmemorable. Except the election put us on the map. That's what my dad always said.
Did it?
The recount. I mean, that was Tallahassee.
Oh, was it?
Put Florida on the map.
That's
That's what Jaron Brill says.
Oh, Florida has been on the map.
I meant Tallahassee. That's what put Tallahassee on the map. That's what he says.
That's funny because I didn't even know it was in Tallahassee.
Yeah.
I was like, I thought it was Arizona. To be honest with you, I didn't know where it was.
Yeah. Nope. That's the legacy. Our legacy.
That's what you live by, is that they did the recount in Tallahassee. All right. I mean, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. It came out correct. So, how long have you been in California?
Just like literally 3 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Recently.
Oh, you're a newbie out here.
Yes.
Okay.
Pandemic baby, but like pre-pandemic, but essentially the pandemic.
Yeah, literally like a few months before.
Yeah.
Or like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, all right, I'm going to head out. And then, oh, shit. Oh, damn. That's rough. Well, also kind of like a good time to move out because like things were slower. So you can kind of get acclimated to the city a little bit better.
Totally.
But whew, yeah, that was the pandemic to me feels still like it was only a year, but it's been like 700.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes. Like we did age 3 years, but it does feel like just a year. But then you're like, wait, I was robbed of a couple years there.
Yeah. I mean, and when people talk about it, I'm like, oh, wasn't that like a few months ago? And you're like, no, that was a year and a half ago.
2020 was a.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember the day before we shut down and then everything in between.
But you weren't
there.
at True Food, were you?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I was at
Are we saying the
Woodridge.
name of our restaurant?
Yeah. Yeah,
okay,
we
do
can.
we say that? Okay.
Yeah. I used to say no because I didn't want to get sued. But then I was like, who fucking cares? Like, first of all, I'm not going to say anything bad about True Food because I like it. I mean, if you do, that's for your thing. I don't have any bad stories yet from True Food yet. But yeah, I don't give a fuck.
Don't bite the hand that feeds you.
Exactly. But I also just like, I I think I just came out. I think July would have been a year for me at True Food.
Really?
Yeah. So how long have you been there since you moved here?
So when I left a marketing job so I could be an actor full time, do that.
Were you marketing in Florida and then
This is all Chicago.
Oh, so you went Florida, Chicago, LA.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. And so I ate at True Food as a guest. We call ourselves guests at our restaurant, not
customers.
Not customers, they're guests.
Gross customers.
And I was a guest of True Food for several years. It was one of my favorite go-to restaurants. And then when I was I would ask people when I quit someday, I want to work here. Do you like working here? I actually talked to Jessica. She liked working there.
Yeah.
And then I got hired. And then the next day I visited LA over whatever that long weekend is in February, President's Day or something like that. Visited LA, had never been. Got back on a Monday. Tuesday, I went to True Food, interviewed. They hired me on the spot. The next day I put in my notice at my restaurant job. And then by mid-March, I was serving again.
Wow.
After 5 years of not serving.
Wow. You went back. You're you were doing marketing? In a corporate business
an
office
agency.
type thing?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
You were
an advertising agency. Yeah. I was in a director, baby.
What?
A big account.
Okay. And you just were over it or what?
I had been doing improv and sketch and stuff in Chicago, as kind of a hobby, and was I just want to give this a real shot.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And had saved up some money and had been itching to leave. And so I left the restaurant with the idea that I could transfer to True Food in LA, but I didn't tell them that.
Yeah.
And so I kind of made it as part of a life move and change, and here I am.
Nice.
And then they shut down. Yeah.
And then they shut down. Did you go to college for marketing or
all of the above? Oh. I got a degree in theater, a degree in advertising, public relations, and a minor in marketing.
Jesus.
Yeah, I was an overachiever in high school, so I was able to actually technically get 2 literal degrees. I went to college twice.
I dropped out of college twice.
Wow. Yeah. We got the full spectrum on today. Oh, that's really great.
Yeah, thank you. I actually originally went to college for business marketing and advertising.
Okay.
And I was oh, college isn't for me. I don't want to do this. And I went you can say I went for a year. I went to class for half a semester and then just drank for the rest of the year. And then I dropped out and then I started going to a community college and studying theater. And I was a year of that and I was I don't think I need this. I think I'm just going to move to LA because my aunt lived out here. So I was fuck it, I'm out.
That. Yes.
Yeah. So dropped out twice.
Wow. I love that story. I'm so jealous of people who dropped out or didn't go to college and
don't have that massive debt that they have to pay back. Actually, I probably do, but I just...
Yeah, I can't... I do not have debt from school, so
nice.
I'm very fortunate.
Good for you.
In that way. But it was just it was a non-option. You know what I mean? It's okay,
Thank you,
Archie. It's just a photo. But it just wasn't... it was not... it was just not a question of whether or not school was on the...
you didn't get the option to not go?
Correct.
Is that what you mean? Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I guess I don't know. I kissed my mom's ass. I don't know. It was just not an option, not to be a college graduate. It was just that was a baseline. You know?
It was, well, I feel when you're from especially the East Coast, the Midwest, all that over there, it's if you don't do the norm, which is go, graduate high school, go to college, get a job, start a family, then you're the weird one, so it makes sense. I felt pressure. I only went to college because all my friends were going. I never in my heart wanted to go. I was going because I figured out that I was going for advertising because I would watch movies of people doing advertising and being oh, I want to play that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I was I would go to school and I'm why am I here? I don't want to do this. I don't care about any of this. And my family could give a fuck. No, but I think only a handful of my family members went to college and I don't know even if any of them graduated. So it was never put on me as pressure. So I couldn't imagine what you had to be where you're I have to go regardless of what I want to do with my life.
Yeah, well, it's my life was planned with college in mind, so I also never saw myself not going to college.
Yeah.
But in the world, but there wasn't a world that existed where there was an alternative either. Do you know what I mean?
Did you know coming out of high school that you wanted to get into acting and theater and all that?
Yeah, literally there was I remember my senior year of high school, our middle school teacher had us do like one of those like time capsule nonsense things. And in the time capsule, and like I forgot that happened, but I had written like, I'm going to be an actor, I'm going to go to school for acting, da, 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 da. And then like my senior year, when I opened it up, I was like, I'm doing all these things.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm kind of like, it obviously took a while to come back to this, but like senior, like freshman college Jessica would be like very pumped to see what
you're doing now.
What junior Jessica LA is doing.
Junior Jessica LA.
It's my third year here, so I'm a junior.
Oh, true. Wow, what the fuck am I? I've been here 11.
Super senior?
Yeah, like 10 times over.
Yeah.
That's so funny. That's cool. Well, I mean, but at least you got a theater degree, or like a degree in theater, because at least that is something, right?
I guess so. It's not necessary.
It's not necessary. Archibald, it's rude to go drink and slip up. Oh, yeah, come right over to me then.
She's the cutest dog.
He's so obnoxious, though. He's like, Bubba, I need you to chill. What's the deal right now? Huh? He's such a fucking maroon. So then you moved out here and so you've been back serving for 5 years now or 3 years?
3 years now. And then I would say, so like for one summer, and then I had like 2 years off, and then I served for, I want to say 3 years, and then like 5 years off, and then now I've been serving again for
3 years,
like 3.5 now, maybe.
Yeah. That's awesome. And God, I already know that you have stories from that village place. It sounds like a truck stop.
I was proposed to there.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Mm-hmm.
Please enlighten us with that.
It was so long ago. That's like all I remember, but I always worked the night shifts. And because we were open till like 4 a.m. or something. And they literally closed from like 4 to 6. And then there was a morning, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just some drunk kids. And I just remember they also stole all the, the little like things that jams come in at like restaurants like that, like the Smuckers.
Yeah.
Jams and jellies and honey.
Oh,
They stole all those and left they stole all the ones, left a bunch of empty ones. And I just remember they got down on their knees and proposed to me. And so that's not the greatest story in the world, but I do remember that. And then there was, yeah. And all, yeah.
Wait, no, enlighten us with the.
Well, no, there was like, I just think back on that. And I remember it was one of my first like real jobs too. So I had done like summer camps and like, whatever, but it was my first, like, I got the job on my own. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't anyone doing me a favor. Like I actually like had expectation to my, whatever. It was a real job.
Yeah.
And I remember like leaving that summer and thinking, oh, I'm so fucking rich, man. Like I am loaded, like supporting myself. Like, and like even one of my friends, he was always getting speeding tickets, Charlie.
Oh, Charlie.
Because this was at home when I was home for the summer. So I was still hanging out with a lot of my friends who had just graduated, like a year younger than me or whatever.
Yeah.
And he'd always get these speeding tickets and he like couldn't tell his parents. So he was like, can I borrow some of your money? And like get around this. I'm like, yeah, I got you. And like I had all this cash and I was tracking it all in an Excel sheet, like all my tips and stuff.
Oh my God.
I made $3,000 that summer.
Wow.
That's not a lot of money.
That's not a lot at all.
I thought I was so rich though. I was like, this is gonna carry me through all of college.
That's not a lot of money.
Oh my God, I loved that sound effect. Yeah.
Oh wow, 3,000. Okay, where did you go to school? Did you have to like travel? Like, was it out of state?
Just like 4 hours away. So I'm from Tallahassee. That's where my first restaurant job is. And then I went to school in Orlando.
Oh, okay. So you're just a hop skip. I went like an hour away from. I would drive back from my Dairy Queen job on the weekends. That's what I did.
Oh my gosh, Dairy Queen! I love a DQ.
Dude, they don't even know what's up out here. They only
Are they not here?
They have like one in a fucking like 400-mile radius, which is very upsetting. And they don't know anything about a cherry dip cone, which is very upsetting for me. It's my favorite thing. Do you not know anything about a cherry dip cone either?
I know of everything but the cherry part.
What?
Well, I also don't love cherry flavors.
I don't either, but the cherry dip cone is just fucking heaven.
What is it, dipped in maraschino cherry sauce instead of chocolate?
It's like artificial. It's completely artificial. It's
like snow cone cherry sauce or something?
No, it's like similar to the chocolate dip, but it's just cherry.
Oh, well, I'm happy for you, but that does not sound good.
It is. Get it with chocolate ice cream. I'm just saying it's amazing. But that was, Yeah, I would drive back for this. So you were okay. So you went back. You made 3,000 for the summer. Honestly, though, but like for what? That's 2.5 months. Archibald, stop it right now.
But I was working full time
Sit
for 3 months.
Yeah, were you working every day?
Pretty much.
Sit.
Well, like 5 days a week, I think.
Sit down right now. Sit down. I'm done with you. Sit.
She's done with him.
You need to stop. You're so fucking annoying. Stop. Chill out. Fucking itching your. Anyway.
I mean, I think
Archie, that's not what I said to get up, you fucker. Yeah, you lay down right there. Yeah.
Good boy.
He's 6, gonna be 6, but he acts like a fucking teenager. Like he gives me these looks sometimes. He'll like look back at me and be like, fuck off.
Yeah.
And then he'll just like do his own thing. This is why I don't need children. I have a fucking anyway, I'm getting off on Archie. So you got proposed to.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
I like no. I think I like probably ran away or like was like, no. Yeah, sure, maybe if you come back and ask me or like something silly.
You're like, depends on what you tip me, asshole.
Well, and no one tipped. I mean, like I said, it was in Philly. Oh, there was like I remember a cowboy would come in a lot.
A cowboy.
Yeah.
Well, it is Tallahassee.
Yeah. Well, they're okay. Well, that's true. I think what made him. Oh God. I hate myself.
Why?
He's a black cowboy, and I just had never seen a black cowboy before. And I just remember that was like very unique.
That, I mean, I get how that could be, but now isn't
He came in all the time. He was a regular.
Isn't like Darius Rucker? He's a black country singer even.
Yes, and he had come out by the time this all happened.
Oh, so
like because Darius
yeah.
Rucker's from the '90s, right? I
Yeah.
was not serving in the '90s.
Yeah. Is he? Is Darius Rucker that old?
Isn't Hoobastank? No.
Not Hoobastank.
Hootie and the Blowfish. Hootie, you see the connection. You see the connection. You see the connection.
I could see how that could be shocking, but I mean, like to me,
And no one knew he was black.
Wait, what do you mean you didn't know he was black?
Like I don't. Okay, well we're getting to very treacherous territory here.
Don't
maybe.
worry, I can edit
Okay,
stuff
great.
out.
But I feel like people did not know that Darius. Like I think if I recall, like Hootie and the Blowfish was a thing, and I remember like in like high school, it'd be like, did you know that he was black? And it was like, holy shit.
Oh,
but maybe that's like
you
southern.
Didn't know
like you know what I
Darius
mean?
Rucker was black.
Correct.
I thought
until much later.
I thought you didn't know that the black cowboy was black.
Oh,
I was like,
no.
well, did you not see him?
Yes, no, I did see him
so
regularly,
funny.
and he was black and wore a cowboy hat and very nice.
And tight jeans.
Yeah, I think it was like the whole shebang. Yes, baby. I don't know if he wore cowboy boots though. I don't recall. But you know, he was always. We had a lot of booths.
Oh, so you didn't like?
So you couldn't necessarily get a good
Totally.
look at the feet unless you were
Yeah.
really going for it.
Yeah.
But I was really embarrassed to work at this restaurant.
Why? Well,
I think it's because of like. I think it was because it was like a truck stop kind of restaurant, and I was very embarrassed and like didn't tell all my friends. And one day, one of my like closest friends, I thought he was going to be kind of judgy, which I mean, this person's not like that at all anymore. We're still incredibly close, but I remember coming out of the kitchen and seeing him and like freaking out. I was like, "How does he know? How does he know? How does he know?"
I mean, it's like if you're embarrassed to work there, then I'd be embarrassed for people to eat there. So it's like,
But then I was a cool hangout spot. Like I was like,
okay.
I like was the source of a lot of
yeah,
customers.
yeah. You like
Then.
made it hip. You're like, this place
Yes.
is so uncool that it's gonna be cool.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
like because I was a theater kid.
Yeah.
And so after the musical that summer, all the like I was not in it because they were in high school. Like right, I said I was hanging out with friends who were a year younger than me, so they would all come in after the show all the time, and then they would shit talk the theater that we were part of.
Yeah.
And one time there was a customer. This is like I'm excited about this story. And one time there was a customer that overheard them all talking shit about like the director of this theater and blah blah blah.
And that was the director.
No, but a customer like a I don't know why I'm so nervous to say the names of all this stuff, but basically they were like, should I go for it? I don't know. Anyways, they were like shit talking the show, and they were all mad that they weren't cast as the lead and who was the lead. Like, it was just like petty nonsense for high schoolers.
Yeah.
Anyways, there was a guest that was a member of this theater, went and told the head of the theater, and they all got in so much trouble. Like, how dare you talk about my business like this? You are lucky to be a student here.
Wow.
Like, it was a huge.
I feel like theater directors are crazy too. So they're like they're any theater director I've ever seen is like, my shit doesn't stink.
Right.
It's the best thing you've ever seen in your life.
Right.
Broadway would be honored to have us.
Right.
You know, and you're like, no, you did like,
Right.
you know, Romeo and Juliet. It's not that great.
Right. I mean, this was like, it was like, I mean, they need to get over the casting. I don't know. It was like, I see all the sides of this, but yeah, I remember everyone came after the Twilight launch, like when the 4th book came out. That was that summer. I didn't tell you the year, but now you figured it out. But the 4th book had come out that summer, and I thought I requested the night off to go to the book signing, but because it came out at midnight, I requested the wrong night off, right? And so everyone came and brought me my book. This is so lame. I was such a twihard. Oh my God. But that was the summer of Twilight and Village Inn.
Village Inn. I love it.
I wish I could say I lost my virginity that summer, but it had already happened. But don't you feel like that would be like the ultimate culmination?
Sit down. Oh my God, you're really starting to bug me. I'm going to put you outside.
Uh-oh.
Do you want to go outside the room? Because you're bothering me. Go sit down, please. Go sit down. Archibald, go sit down. Sit. No, don't come back. No, don't come back. Go sit down. Go sit down. Sit. Yeah, there you go.
Good job. I have a question. Can we drink the drink yet?
Yeah, of course.
Well, I didn't know if there was like going to be some big intro to it, so I was like, I'm very excited to try this michelada.
Well, you know what? We can do it now. We'll knock it out so you feel comfortable drinking it.
I don't know. I want to do it right. That's also part of my personality is like not being wrong. There's nice. That's why I'm like, can I say the name of all these things? I don't know. Everyone knows. Like, I don't know.
I know.
Yeah. Okay. It was yeah.
Jess is the person that'll come up to you and she'll be like, "Hey, so did you see that girl? Like, she looked like had something on her face." And then she'll be like, "I'm not like saying like anything bad. I just want you to know that like I saw something on her face and like I hope she knows to like get." And I'm like, "Jess, I talk shit. Like I'm not gonna.
No.
You're like LA's gonna ruin you if you don't get tighter skin, man. You got to get fucking.
It's not my skin. I'm not offended. I don't want to hurt everyone else's feelings.
That's my point. You got to. That's something you need to get over.
I know.
This is LA, baby. It's all about hurting feelings.
Hey, fuck you, Archie.
Yeah, Archie.
Fuck off.
He's like, what did I do? Okay, let's do the bartender segment so we can knock it out. All right.
Bartender, I need a drink.
So Jess, what is your go-to drink after a shitty night or a good night working?
My favorite drink. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. I'm so happy to blast this to the world. I love micheladas. So it's michelada and then a Bloody Mary, probably somewhere in there, depending any time of day, right? A Bloody Mary. Like I was notorious for Bloody Marys at night to like kick off the party. If I wasn't holding a bottle of Andre. And so I love a Bloody Mary. I love a dirty martini or a French martini or like an espresso martini. Or I do like a vodka water if I'm just like at the wedding all night. Like I'll just nurse vodka waters all night. But michelada, baby, the best. Best. And a treat because you don't find them everywhere.
No.
I just want to kill people.
Yeah, I've never had a michelada until right now.
And you're sipping it real slow.
Well, I was waiting and then I was like, I should probably get into this. And then I was like, oh, it's actually really good. It's super like, it totally gives me, like, it does remind me of a Bloody Mary, which I love a Bloody Mary, but it's super refreshing. We made it with Pacifico. I got some michelada mix from Ralph's. We put in some Tapatio, or not Tapatio, Cholula chili garlic hot sauce in there. A little bit of
it
that.
was chili garlic Cholula?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I got
that.
it from, I was just at a bachelorette weekend, and that was part of the like gift basket was a bunch of different types of Cholula.
Oh, that's really fun.
I know. It's because my friend who we went, she like loves Cholula. Like she puts it on everything.
Fascinating. That's how I feel about micheladas.
Yeah, and it's so good. It's so like, I can see how people like these.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're great.
Mm-hmm. It's delicious. That's what we're drinking. This is it's pretty easy. I'll put a recipe up if anybody wants it, but you could also just Google it. or just make one yourself.
Totally. If you're in the Chicago area, I'm telling you, Green Street Smoked Meats makes one of the best micheladas I've ever had. I still think about it. And this other place I can't remember though.
Green
so sorry
Street
about that
Smokes
place.
Meats?
Green Street Smoked Meats.
Smoked meats. Did they do like bacon and all that shit with it like they would do a Bloody Mary?
People in places do stuff like that. Yes. I don't think that was included with this.
Okay. I don't order micheladas, so I don't know if they come with like the whole hoopla like a.
Not as
Bloody
frequently.
Mary.
Typically, it's just like a lime.
Oh, okay.
Usually, yeah.
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 Oh, nice.
Definitely
I mean,
the rim though. Definitely.
Yeah, we got a tahini rim because tahini is delicious. I usually hate a salt rim on like margaritas and stuff, but it's tahini.
Perfect on this, right?
It's so good. It's so delicious. Yeah, that's a great drink. My first michelada and probably won't be my last.
Nope, we got her converted.
Yeah. I don't usually, I'm just so used to drinking IPAs that like when it's like comes to a light beer, I'm like, I don't like it, but I love like a.
But Mexican light beer is different than like a Bud Light.
Totally. Even Tecate.
Which I don't even know if that's appropriate to compare the two, but.
It's Bud Light is not appropriate to compare to anything besides piss.
So refreshing.
No, but yeah, no, it's so I love a good Mexican. I like I even drink Tecates. Like if I'd take that over a Bud Light for sure.
Totally.
Yeah, there's just something about 'em.
Pacifico's great. And
Pacifico.
Corona. I mean, I love a Corona with a little lime.
So good. So good.
And your little thumb juice, you got to get the thumb in there to shake.
Oh, of course.
You know what I mean?
Stick
It
it in
tastes
there.
good with,
with your salty thumbnails. Gross.
Only time I like a thumb.
In any anyway. All right. So what do you have a specific story pertaining to like an asshole? Like a
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, this one. Ooh, this one is a recent story too.
Wait, let me play the soundbite first so you
whoopsies.
can get it. No,
I'm going to drink while she does this. Thank
do
you.
that. Yeah.
You're an asshole.
All right. So tell us your asshole story that you have.
Okay. Mother's Day 2022, baby. Just a few months ago.
Yep.
We were very like, oh my gosh, you were there. Our restaurant was like,
it was insane.
Super planny. Like we were talking about Mother's Day, like
For
January 1. Like, they were like, okay, you're going to be here and they're like rearranging the restaurant. And it's like, people aren't going to know where they are.
Yeah.
Anyways, super planny and everything was really set. We had our set sections exactly when we were breaking. It was generally speaking, I think it went very great. But I did have this one guest. It was a mother and her son, and then the friend. That was that was the situation. And like the one friend, they were like shady at each other the whole time. Like she was like, last time we saw each other, she didn't get me anything. So I had to come with a full gift basket. And she had this like, you know what I mean?
Wait, mother, son, and the son's friend?
Nope. A friend of the mother. So
Okay.
2 adult women.
Got it.
And a son of only one of the adult women.
Okay.
Friendship situation, seemingly so. I don't think this was a relation. Like, I don't think it was a romantic relationship.
Yeah.
But the mother had gotten a gifts basket from the friend, not for Mother's Day, but just from like the last time they had been together. She didn't get her a gift or something. So like that was very strange for the
Is that
time.
what you're supposed to do with friends? You give them a gift every time?
That is, I don't subscribe to that, but I do constantly feel like the friend that comes empty-handed to the hangs. I'm like, I don't know how people do this. And it's always, this is not about restaurants, but I feel like it's always like, hey, let's have a get together. Like, and everyone goes to the grocery store separately to all get like one bag of chips. And then we bring them together and it's like, can't one person just do the shopping?
Yeah. And then you like Venmo them.
Or yes.
Or it's like delegate. I delegate. Like if I'm having a thing, it's like, you're going to get like mixers. You're going to get chips or whatever. Or like, I don't know.
I'm bad at that stuff, but bad friend, good server.
I doubt you're a bad friend.
No, I'm not a bad friend. I'm a great friend. You say so myself. My best friend's birthday is this Sunday.
Just in case everyone.
And I've known her for a long time. Okay, so that's facts for you. Facts. I'm a good friend. Okay. Anyways, so it was like already some like weird tension. We were obviously very busy. Yeah. I was super pleasant. I'm a very like happy, cheerful, like not like, I feel like you really connect with your guests, and I'm like, I'm not necessarily trying to connect with you, but like, I'm definitely going to like have a fun time with you.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
we had different approaches, same outcome.
Yeah.
And so I was really nice, really friendly, gave them all my recommendations and whatnot. She gets this, I don't even remember what she ordered anymore. Oh, I do. She got this meal that has like some grains in it, it's whatever. This is a True Food Kitchen. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to say the name.
Say it.
True Food Kitchen. She'd ordered an ancient grain bowl, which is one of our most popular dishes.
Most popular.
Really good too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways.
And pretty basic too. Like it's pretty hard to mess up.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just like remove like mushrooms if you don't like mushrooms.
Sure.
It's really easy.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she'd gotten this dish and I checked in, you know, they were every time I was there forever. They wanted me to know everything that they were up to and doing, and, you know, all the wrongs they had wronged each other. I was like really a part of it.
So you didn't know that you were coming in to be a therapist.
Correct.
As well.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes. No pay increase.
Yeah.
And she's like, she calls me over. I don't normally like to do this, but this.
Can I
like
just say
a rock.
too, when anybody ever says, I don't normally like to do
Right.
this, it means that you do it all the time.
Yes.
It means that you're a asshole. So
Right.
anyway.
Because if you don't do it all the time, you say, I hate myself for doing this.
Yeah.
Right.
You literally go, when I have to send
I'd rather
food
die
back,
than say this.
yeah, I'll be like, I am so sorry. I just can't, like, I can't eat or whatever. I'll tell a story after you finish about how I actually did have to send food home. But go ahead. So she
calls me over and she's like, I cannot eat this. I'm like, okay, you know, like what, I want to make sure I make you happy. What can I get for you? Here's some different options. Do you want me to remake it? Can I bring you a menu? No. I'm like, okay, all right. There's no point in harping on this. She wanted me to try it. And her friend
What?
goes, yeah, she wanted me to try her food
Gross.
out of the bowl on the fork. Yes, she wanted me to eat food off of her plate, which I've never actually had anyone ask me to eat their food before.
Me neither. Is he snoring?
I think so. I've never had anyone ask me to eat food off their plate before. And I'm just like, and her friend called out exactly what I was thinking. I'm like, well, I was thinking, you've got to be fucking crazy.
Right.
I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? And her friend was like, girl, nobody wants to eat your food in the time of COVID. Like, also that.
Of course. Yeah.
Also that.
Yeah.
And she wouldn't take no for an answer. She was like, well, then I want you to at least feel it.
What was it that was wrong with the dish to her?
One of the farro pieces, I think, were like a little hard.
Oh, heaven
A
forbid.
grain. God
Oh,
forbid one
jeez.
grain be on the, you know, whatever. So, and like farro is like, it's not the mushiest grain.
No, it's kind of a hard grain.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyway, so she's like, oh, well, I want you to try this or whatever. I said, no. And she's like, well, then I need you to feel it.
Okay.
She forced me. She didn't open my hand or anything, but I was just like, I don't.
But you're like,
what else do I do?
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. And so she like made me hold out my hand, and then she put some grain.
in your
It was
hand?
so demeaning.
She
honestly.
was planting
It
a
was so
tree
demeaning.
in your hand.
She put the grains in my hand, cupped my hand, and told me to like feel it. And I go, feels pretty normal to me. Well, I mean, I'm just being honest. Like, I hate the
Yeah.
situation, and it felt fine.
Yeah.
Why are you having me touch and eat your food?
That's so inappropriate.
so
and
inappropriate.
weird for somebody
Yes.
to like. I it's not like you were sitting there. You're like, ma'am, I think you're lying about how hard these grains
No,
are.
I just said, what can I do to make you happy?
Right. It's not like you were like trying to accuse her of lying. You're like, that's fine. I'll take it away. Let's get you something else. If you say it's too hard, it's too hard. Like, what?
Like, I don't have time.
Yeah.
Like, let's just solve the problem, right?
Right.
But you know, everyone comes to a restaurant. Well, most people complaining just want to be heard. It's not actually about the issue. We know this. We
Yeah,
know it.
especially it sounds like too, because she's with this friend who you said that they were already complaining to each other about. It sounds like she needed to take it out on somebody and her friend wasn't having it. So she's like, bing, it's
Right.
going to be you.
Right. And they, you know, they were like playing me so sweet and you know, we love you, whatever. And you know, they did not tip. Like, they didn't tip bad, but they didn't like, it wasn't anything to write home about, and it definitely wasn't good enough to make up for the fact that she wanted me to eat her food.
Right. Which is a thing, people. If you know you're a nightmare and you're going out to eat, tip better, because we shouldn't have to deal with you. Like, you being a nightmare is not part of our job description. That's so great. So then what happened? Did you end up getting her anything else, or she just like sat there and watched her other people
Yeah,
eat.
I mean, I think we did end up getting her something completely different, whatever, and they were fine, and like I think they got dessert, whatever. I just was like, they need to get the fuck out of here. Bye,
Yeah.
get out, leave. And I think I went on a break. Like I think it was cut pretty quickly after that too. But
Yeah, Mother's Day was crazy.
wow, yeah,
Wow. Especially for it to be on Mother's Day, especially for somebody to complain on the literal busiest day
we
in
were
any restaurant.
slammed.
We did so much. We did 80 grand in one day. Our restaurant did. I mean, that blew anybody else out of the water. I mean, we served in lunch alone. We served over 1,700 guests. Did you know?
Wow.
That? Yeah, we had over 1,700 covers for the day.
Wow.
Yeah, I was there
It was
for-
a smooth one. It was a great day. Like this wasn't obviously this isn't shit talking the restaurant. It was someone who.
No,
came in,
yeah.
but
I mean,
it
the
was great.
restaurant handled that was the best
So
Mother's Day
smooth,
I have
yes.
ever worked in my entire life
Absolutely.
at any restaurant.
Absolutely.
I was there for 13 hours too. I was there all day.
You did a double.
I did a double,
Woo!
but I made like $700 in that
yeah.
double, so it was pretty fun. But
Yeah.
I mean, it was a lot, but it wasn't like
It was aside from that weird guest, they were
Yeah.
lovely. It was a great day. Like the kitchen went so smoothly.
Yeah.
It was one
it really did. They had it. They had
I
it
would
put
work
together.
a Mother's Day again for
Same.
sure. It's especially if it's run like that. It was worth it for sure.
Totally, same for
What am I
sure.
gonna do on Mother's Day? I'm not a mother.
Yeah,
I don't
my
wanna
mom
be.
lives in
I'm not-
fucking Ohio. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna go. I don't get to see her on Mother's Day, so
Yeah.
that's crazy. I mean, people. I don't think I had anybody crazy on Mother's Day that I can remember. And if I did, I already forgot. But I don't think I did. I think I had actually pretty nice people on Mother's Day. I was just slanging those mango tarts, man. I was like, you get one, and you get one, and you get one. But I was recently on vacation in South Carolina.
Yeah.
And my sister, my cousin, and I, it was like 12 o'clock at night. We had just gotten back. I think I did a show out there. And we got done, and I hadn't had dinner because they ate at the club and I didn't.
Oh, right.
And so I was working. And I was like,
And comedy clubs, and it's none of this film set shit.
No.
Comedy clubs don't feed you. I
No.
mean, they don't care. You're on
I
your
had like
own.
5 or 6 drinks instead.
Yeah.
So, but they didn't comp any of them, which was pretty weird. And I also didn't get paid. And I crushed. And I'm like, okay, anyway.
Not one free drink, even while you were on stage.
No.
Ugh.
I know. And the drinks were relatively cheap because it was South Carolina. Like,
Right.
I'm pretty sure they were like $8. And I kept tipping the bartender pretty well, and she still didn't hook me up. But actually, you know what? I take that back. I think somebody did buy me a shot. But whatever.
Like a person at the club though, not the.
Yeah, I
that's
think it was
that's
somebody.
different.
I know. And I was just like, it was whatever. But I was like, well, I'm hungry. Like, let's go. And the only place that was open was this place like a block away from our hotel. And it was like a bougier place. It was like nicer. It's called like Soho. And I checked because I was like, I don't want to be that asshole. Like, let's make sure their kitchen's open. And their kitchen was open till 1, and we got there at 12. And we sat outside, and there was like 4 other tables outside. There was like these 2 young girls behind me, this couple next to us, and then it was me, my sister, and my cousin. And my cousin, who is a male, but he's like, looks like a guy you'd like pick your teeth with. He's so tiny. You know what I mean? Like he's he's not anything that you're like, oh, that guy can protect us. So we were at this, and we sit down. It was literally the worst service I've ever had in my life. They add 20% to all the checks, regardless. So they're already added gratuity, so they don't give a fuck, right? And we sit down and we're waiting like 10 minutes. My sister had already gotten up once to be like, hey, is anybody going to come out there? And I like peeked inside and I like see this one server who's just like laughing, joking with the host, just like having the best time of her life. And I'm like, must be nice. And then 5 minutes later, that girl walks out and she's our server. I'm like, bitch, where the fuck you been? And like, I'm usually very forgiving when it comes to serving because I know, I'm like, I get it.
Being a server has ruined eating out for me personally. I
100%
can't
same.
Like I ate out friendly, happy in that 5 years I didn't serve. And as a server, I don't enjoy eating out.
No, it's not, because even when you don't want to be like timing everything, you're timing everything or you're judging everything like internally because you have your own clock where you're like, if that was me serving, I'd be freaking out that this isn't done or that's not done or whatever.
Or you want to be overly nice, and
Yeah.
it's like it's it's not. It's I'm not very good at it.
Me neither. I'm the same. Like and my sister was even shocked because she's like, normally like I'm the one that freaks out. She's like, you're usually really calm. And I'm like, no, I'm pissed. Because the server comes out, doesn't apologize about having us wait forever. She was nice, but she just didn't care. And so we order all of our stuff right then and there because we're like, by this time it's 12:20 and we're like, we don't want to be assholes. So we ordered drinks, appetizers, and then entrees. And mind you, she did not go to the other table behind us, the other table next to us. Like she just came to us and then went back inside. And like another 15 minutes later, our drinks come out. And like at this point, I'm like, I already know that everything's going to be slow because they don't give a fuck. And why you know what I mean? Like,
oh, yes.
And why we're sitting out there, this fucking gross looking Guido motherfucker like walks out, like scream talking on his phone to this person who sounds like they're like 10 years old, like a 10-year-old female, but he's talking to her about an erotic novel and like all this really, and like loud enough for me to know details. Like, and you know what I mean? He was sitting basically like 2 feet away from us at this table, just loud as fuck. And at this point, I'm annoyed. I'm hungry and I'm like starting to get loud. And I was like, what the fuck is this guy's deal? You know, I'm like, why are you here? Get the fuck out. Go down the steps and go talk on the sidewalk.
I wish I could watch this because you're like one of the nicest, most thoughtful people. Like Heather brings our, like we used to when we parked in the parking garage, like when you bring the parking attendant like drinks and stuff. It was so
hot out there.
It was she's so nice.
Well, that's the thing. Like to push me to the brink it takes a lot. Like I'm usually very easily, I'm like, don't worry about it. Like relax, we're chilling. But it was just like, I was not having it this night. And so this fucking guy, and I'm just like, we can all hear you. Like we can hear your conversation. This is creepy. Like go away. So he finally goes back inside and, our appetizers come out and they were whatever. They were fine. And this whole time still, I think nobody's greeted the 2 girls behind us. And then I haven't seen this couple have anybody come up to them either, but they had stuff on the table already. And like me as a server, I'm like, what the fuck is going on for them? Maybe like 25 minutes later, somebody finally like brings something out to these girls, whatever. And while we're sitting there, our entrees come out and I ordered lo mein noodles with some hibachi steak, right? Sounds pretty simple. My cousin ordered like rice and steak or something. And then I don't think my sister, I think she got a salad. And my stuff comes out and it tastes like they made ramen noodles and put it on a plate. It was so gross. It was so salty. And I was like so pissed that I was like, normally I'd like force myself to eat it because I'd be like, I don't want to send it back. Like I don't want to be that person.
Whatever, I'm hungry. Yeah.
Exactly. And I was like, but I was already just everything piling up.
I was
like,
I'm for this.
Yeah. I was like, I'm fucking done because I didn't want this bitch to get that 20% tip for that. And so another 15 minutes till she comes out, I send it back. I was like, you know what? I was like, this is gross. I was like, you send it back. And I wasn't rude about it, even though I was annoyed. I was just like, I don't want anything else. And why my sister and my cousin are finishing up, this fucking Russian dude walks outside and sits at the table across from us, which is like 2 feet away, but like staring at us. And I was like, all right, now, like, and I'll get fucking, I'll throw hands. Like if I need to, I don't give a fuck. And I was starting to get pissed because I'm super protective of my sister. And so, and like my cousin, he's a scrawny guy, but I'm like, nobody's trying to sex traffic you. You know what I mean? Like nobody wants your scrawny ass. Like, you know what I mean? And I'm like, I'm like, my sister is hot, definitely could get sex trafficked. And then there's 2 very young girls behind me that could get sex trafficked. And so I'm like, and South Carolina, this Myrtle Beach is a hotspot for that.
Oh, is it? Okay,
yeah,
okay.
because it's right on the water. It's you know what I mean? So, and so my instincts, I'm like, And so this guy, he gets on the phone, he starts speaking Russian. And so me and my sister start doing the only thing we think is plausible and just start saying the only few Russian words we know so we can make him think that we know what he's saying.
You know Russian?
I know a couple words. Wow. Yeah. So my sister was like, she's like, da, which is just like yes in Russian, you know? And I was like, Privyet, spasiba. And I was like,
wait, what are you saying?
Privyet is like, hello, how are you?
Okay.
And spasiba is like, hello. And then das vidanya, obviously everybody knows that's like goodbye or see you later. And I just kept saying those over, just being like, yeah, I know Russian. I had no idea what he was saying. I don't even know if he was Russian. He could have been fucking something else. And but I was like, you're not about to fucking do this here. And finally, this bitch comes back out and like, we were like, we need the check. We want to go. Thank God my 20% tip was only $3 because I only got an appetizer and a drink. So I felt fine because I was almost going to be like, I don't think you deserve, like, and I was to be at the point where I almost don't want to tip somebody like that. You have to have fucked me over. But I was like, fuck it. It's $3. She can have it. And as we're getting up to leave, this Russian dude like walks behind my cousin, stands there for a second, walks back. And this whole time I'm literally just making eye contact with him. And I'm just like, who the fuck are you? And we get up, and as we get up, the couple who's sitting here and the girls are all like, we're all kind of like, what is happening here? And I was like, I'm pretty sure there's a sex trafficking ring going on right here. And I looked at the two girls and I go, you guys need to be really careful because this guy's super creepy. And he's standing right next to me basically. And I'm saying this about him. And we go to walk down the stairs and he walks in between me and my sister and my cousin are already walking downstairs. And I was like, I lost it. I was like, get the fuck out of my way. And I like shoved him to the side and I kept walking. And I was like, dude, like it was one of the most insane situations I've ever had happen at a restaurant. Like I was like, am I like, oh, and I forgot to tell you, as the server came up to take our checks, I looked at her and I was like, is there like, I was like, who are these guys? And she's like, oh, the Guido guy was the owner. And then the other guy was his friend. And I was like, is there like some sex trafficking thing going around? I was like, blink twice if you need our help. And she's like, oh, no, not me. And then walked back inside. I was like, what do you mean not you? Like, what? It was so weird. And then we didn't go back there the rest of the time. And I was just like, actually, I'm going to leave a review for them because actually maybe I did already. Did I do them when I was drunk? I don't think I did, but I'm going to because it was insane. It was insane. I was like, what is that? And everybody, the service in that town was the worst I've ever had. Yeah. And that was one of the only times I've ever sent food back. And I like to eat. I'll eat. And I was like, this shit, garbage. And I was like ready to fight somebody. I was like, and my sister was like, Heather, stop it. Because she's like getting all scared. I was like, no, it's fine. It was weird too. As we were walking back to our hotel, which is literally, like I said, a block and a half away. This like one other, like, I'm pretty sure he was just like a crackhead. He was like following us. And I was like, oh my God, like, here we go, dude. Like, I'm going to have to fucking fight somebody. That was pretty crazy. So yeah, that was my sex trafficking story for you.
I'm glad everyone's okay that we know of.
I know. I honestly was going to be like, should I wait for those two girls and like walk them back to their hotel? Because I was like concerned for them, more or less. I wasn't concerned for me or my sister because I knew I was there, but I was like concerned for those two girls. And I was like, be careful. Mm-hmm. So hopefully they're fine. So
Wow.
Anyway, that's that. Where do you go from there? What?
Okay, hold on. I don't think we turned it back. This is also probably my dad took me to DC when I was in the 3rd grade or something. And God, we had one of the worst meals I've ever had in my entire life to this day. Still remember I was in 3rd grade and I had ordered a pizza. And like I don't know, the point of the story is my dad and I still talk about it to this day because the running thing was like, my dad's never sent food back. He will eat anything. He's a big boy. He'll eat fucking anything except literally the only thing he doesn't like is like bell peppers, which I also don't.
Interesting.
You know, but like he'll pick around it. He's not going to send it back. And it was like this pizza that they basically like put sauce on like a tortilla and like some cheese and like tried to call it. It was like a kid's pizza. And we like, I mean, my dad ate it, but we still to this day talk about like how shitty that pizza was.
What?
I guess it's more of like a nice memory than a bad one, but it was like such a nice piece of shit. And DC's gotten much better in their food culture, I would say.
Have they? Well, yeah, now they are. Yeah,
they got,
for
like,
sure.
Good chefs and stuff there now.
Yeah. What, tortilla and pizza sauce, huh?
Which I would eat at home, but I would call it a tortilla pizza. I wouldn't put it on the menu and say, do you want a pizza, and make it out of a tortilla.
It's like a pizza quesadilla. That's not a pizza.
But it was still flat. It wasn't even, you know what I mean? It was just one tortilla, flat sauce, cheese on top. It was so and it was like burned. I don't like, it was, I mean, again, this was in 3rd grade, so I had like 7. This was like 20.
So you were a bougie eater at 3rd grade. Okay, we get it.
Yeah, you know, refined taste. The refined taste of us from Tallahassee. Yeah. We're like Olive Garden was our fancy restaurant.
Oh my God, dude. Olive Garden. You know what? Being from Ohio, we're the same. Like, I'm pretty sure we would go to Longhorn as like your night out, you know? Do you have any stories? Do you remember any stories where do you remember like your most amazing tip you've ever gotten?
Well, okay, so I think that's actually may have been recently.
Oh, okay, nice.
But I know, not one of those like stories where I remember this guy I was dating, which was like, don't ever date somebody at work. And then that was definitely still a bad idea. But it was this guy I was dating when I worked at a restaurant in Chicago. We were like at one of the flagship restaurants, like on the Magnificent Mile, whatever, Buca de Beppo.
Oh, little
Buca. I remember eating at Buca before I worked there, like a long time ago, and thinking like, what a nice Italian restaurant. What authentic Italian experience. They really want the family to have a good time. And then I worked there and I was like, what the fuck? I was bamboozled as a child. Like I have like two distinct memories of going to Buca de Beppo and being like, this is incredible. One time I'm 90% certain when I went to New York on this like high school trip, and it was with my it was, geez Louise, you're finding out so much about me, but it was through my temple. We had like a confirmation trip and a rabbi had been from New York. And so rabbi's like, oh, we're going to get you to all these great places. I remember thinking like, oh my God, I discovered calamari on this trip. Like I'm pretty sure we were at like a Maggiano's or Buca de Beppo. I'm like, oh my.
We went to a Maggiano. I discovered calamari.
I had never had calamari before. I just remember thinking like, oh my God, I'm so cool. Like it was the best Caesar salad. Like, and yeah, I mean, Buca de Beppo is like barely in business anymore, and there's reasons why. Yeah. But like that's one of those restaurants I feel like once you work there, you don't go back. I know so many people who like worked at Buca de Beppo on like their third time. Anyways,
that's how BJ's is. I would never go back.
BJ's. Oh, and then I like get this job at True Food, and there's a Buca down the street, and I'm
literally
like,
right behind
it's
us,
sucking me in.
Yeah.
I don't work there though. Anyways, okay, what's the point of this? The point of this was a tip. This guy I was working at, he like got, he's like, my guest just gave me $100 in cash as a tip. And like, even at True Food, when I first started, one of my friends, one of those things where he's like, there was a $20 check and he gave me $100. And it's like, I've never had one of those experiences. Even though I think I deserve it. Yeah. Anyways, literally 2 weeks ago on a Thursday day shift, and I was in a real good mood. Like things were going great. Our restaurant's it was pretty slow. So it was, whatever. Yeah. And I had this like lovely older lady and her, I don't know, she was with a gentleman. And I'd like come up and, we were vibing, and they were like, I was like, how are you doing? She's like, oh, I'm doing great. Did you hear about Kansas? This is when Kansas like didn't let that abortion law go into effect. Like the whole state really rallied and let that come through. Not that this is a political podcast, but I am
of course.
Very much like 100%. Let's like not do that.
Yeah.
Like let's let women make choices that they need to make for their body. Yes.
Of course.
And so it was like this old, she was like, I'm really, oh no. That's not for, she told, that's not how it started. No. I said, how are you doing today? And I wanted to get their order. She goes, he'll order for us. And I was like, okay. And she goes, but I'm a strong woman. And I go, I know, girl. I was like, you make so many decisions. You need to like take a load off.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah. She's like, I was a part of, I was fighting for our rights back in the day. And she's asked me about Kansas. And we had like this whole little cheer about Kansas. And we like loved it. And we were all excited. And it was like, you know what I mean? Like that burst of like excitement, energy in the restaurant. And you're like, I love this table. Like I love that they're here. I love that I felt like I was kind of pulling a Heather in terms of bonding with them. And it was such a lovely experience. And they were like, you just really care. I see. They're like, they pulled me to hold my hand. And,
oh, yeah.
They're like, we really see you like taking your time to like be with your customers or your guests. And we like see how many people you're talking to or whatever. And, you know what? That's actually not the But they gave me a good tip. But then there was another table that day that tipped me like $50 on like 30.
Nice.
And it was all the same day. Whatever good vibes were happening. Sorry, I just thought about how much I loved them, and I just wanted to shout out to that lovely couple, that strong woman.
That strong woman who let her man order for her.
Yes, she did.
Because she needed a break.
Yes. And he paid.
That. And he paid.
Hell yeah. That's
I know.
my kind of lady.
Hell yeah. Like I'm all for female empowerment, but also men, you can still pay for shit. Like you still get paid more than us, so you can still pay for shit.
Right. And just like I'm sure she pays sometimes too. Like
I'm sure.
Oh my god.
I'm sure. That's awesome. so they tipped you well, and then you got that $50. I feel like
I had a great day that day. Like I was walking, like I had like maybe 5 tables. I was walking with like close to $200. Like it was like everyone was like really coming and clutching.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things where you're just like, is it me today or is it just a good energy? And I do try to figure that out sometimes. Sometimes it's just random. But like I was definitely giving good stuff. You know what I mean?
It's disappointing when you come in with that attitude and you end up like people just tip you under 20%, and you're like, oh. Okay.
Yeah, you're like, okay. You can afford the $3 to tip 20% on your $15 sandwich or whatever.
That's my biggest pet peeve right now is that, you know, it's everybody's like, well, things are more expensive. Then don't go out. Don't go out. If you don't have money to tip, don't go out.
I have been trying not to eat out as much this month. It's possible.
It's possible. Cook at home or take out. Like because I'm probably giving you 30% service, but I'll take 20%. And like for you to tip me under is you're just devaluing me. And I'm like, I get aggravated.
I mean, it is frustrating.
It's super frustrating because it's like everybody's like, well, things are more expensive. That's not my problem. So you are allowed to afford to go out to eat and enjoy yourself, but I can't afford to pay my bills because you're not tipping me. No, I don't have sympathy for you, and you can go fuck off. That's cool. I love a good day. I had that the other day where I just was like in a good mood and I just didn't give a fuck. I was like, let's just have fun. I end up getting myself in a little trouble sometimes because I'll talk to tables a little too long and I'll be like, oh fuck, I have 5 others that I need to go and just do shit for. And then I'll have to hit all of them and spend time at their tables.
So they don't feel like, the problem child.
Yeah.
We saw you chit-chatting over the,
What, are we not good enough?
Yeah. Tell us jokes.
Yeah. I don't even tell jokes really like at the table. I'll like riff, but I won't. I don't know. People are like, I'll just get into, I'm very like, you say I can, I mean, I guess I do, but I'm just very like open. I'll just be like, hey, how are we? And then if I like, I'll just ask, I'll be like, oh, like, what did you do to yourself? If they have like a bandage or something. And I don't know. I just like,
see, I'm like, don't talk to me. Like I'm here to get you like, but yeah, I am. But like my favorite thing is like dropping off food and stuff. Like if there was a job where I could just like be a delight on the floor,
right?
Which that doesn't exist. I love like going like bam, and then being like, oh, like that was fun. I'm like, wasn't it? Like I don't know, but I don't like create those connections.
You don't see. I don't know if they feel like connections to me. I mean, I guess they do, but like a guest made you a T-shirt.
Yeah, he handmade you a T-shirt.
Yeah, he did, and then he died. Which is sad.
That's so sad.
So
I don't do well with like surprise bad news. I'm not laughing at the guest, but I'm like that song lyric.
John would want us to laugh at him. He was a very shout out to John. You were amazing. You were so fun. I'm sad that you're gone, but yeah, he made me a T-shirt. He blew up a photo and brought it in for me. Yeah, I mean, I got so close to guests when I worked at BJ's, I babysat their daughter.
Oh my.
Yeah. Like,
yeah, see, I mean, you're clearly doing something right.
I mean, I guess you know how I do. Somebody asked me this. I think it was one of the new servers. They're like, well, what do you do? And I was like, I just treat people like I already know them, like they're my friends already. And I just walk up to a table like we're homies. And I feel like that, like, you know, obviously I'll gauge the table. Like if it's a bunch of businessmen who are like talking shop, I'm not going to bother them. But I think that that's my gift is that I can read a table enough or people enough to go, I can have fun with them or they want me to be do and be done. And I don't know. That's probably because I've been doing this for like 1,000 years.
Yeah.
You know, you learn to fucking see how people are going to be. I could pinpoint a table when they walk in and I'm going to go, they're going to be trouble or they're going to be really fun or they're going to be, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't happen quite as much, at True Food, but man, BJ's, I'd see a table walk in and I'd be like, I do not want to serve them. And it's sad, but it's true. I just don't, some people suck. But let me think. Okay, what else do we got to do? Do you have any fun kitchen stories? Anything about the kitchen?
I feel like, I don't know. I feel like all my kitchen stories are like those problematic stories that restaurants are harbor. You know what I mean? Like those sexual harassment stories. Those are all the kitchen stories I have for the most part where I'm like, did you just say that? Are you fucking kidding me?
It's funny how much of that is in a restaurant that doesn't like, I don't know. I'm like the type of girl who's like, you can sexually harass me. That's fine. Like, cause I'll just do it back. But I get how it's uncomfortable for people too. Like I get the best of both worlds, but there's some people in our kitchen that just be a little too grabby sometimes.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Like like front of house or back of house?
Back of house.
Grabby. Oh my. No, I don't want to be touched. Nope.
A little too huggy, you know? Like where they hug you too tight and you're like, that's a little too tight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like
It's a little too. My eyes are popping out.
yeah.
I said a woo gut. I didn't mean to.
Sir, I cannot breathe anymore. Thank you. No, I'm very easily to be like, okay, but sometimes I'm like you shouldn't do that. That's too much. But I never had, I do very well with not hooking up with people in the restaurant.
1,000%. I did have that one example, but that's it.
Yeah, I've hooked up, but I'm like a praying mantis. Like I'll hook up with a guy and just be like, all right, that's it. Bye. And then they'll be like, well, what do you mean that's it?
Are they like non-monogamous or something? What's the praying mantis?
Like a female praying mantis, when she mates with a male praying mantis, she bites their head off and kills them.
Cool.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. Yeah. And that's kind of like what I do. I just like, I'm very detached. I'll be like, all right, that's it. Bye. Yeah. Like if I have sex with somebody before I get to know them, I will have no connection. I'll be like, that was it, sex, bye. And we're good. And that's what happened when I hooked up with the one guy. And luckily he was too.
I mean, I feel like exactly. If I don't know who you are, I'm like, there's no connection.
Yeah, there's so many guys I've hooked up with. I couldn't tell you any of their names right now. Yeah, I couldn't tell you. I don't even know what they looked like, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of that. So if anybody wants to come at me, you can fuck off. That's I guess our kitchen isn't like there's not. Well, a couple of juicy things have happened recently in our kitchen. I don't know if you know, like some people got fired and stuff.
Who got fired?
Zeke, I think is his full name. I don't know what his full name was, but yeah, he got fired because he fought with Jordan and Vanessa.
Oh, I kind of did hear about some of that.
Yeah, he got fired, and then Robert, the dish guy, got fired because he freaked out on people because he was always like on coke and weed and shit. He would like that motherfucker. I don't know if you know who he would always be in the dish pit, small, kind of scrawny guy.
You know, I don't know.
Yeah, he's not like super memorable, but like he was never mean to me. But I would know, I could tell his mood when he was either on coke or when he was smoking weed or when he was drunk, because like he would act like colder or warmer, and I'm like, this dude literally every time I go to the dish pit, he's coming from outside, and I'm like, what do you think he's doing back there? But he just got fired recently too. Oh, I know.
The chef told me not to, because I would like, if someone's great, I like to. I'm a nobody, right? I have no authority, but it's like, hey, I like positive reinforcement. Like, hey, so and so's really nice, or like really on top of it. And chef's always like, don't say anything. You always say something, and then we have to fire them, or they leave, or like you always say something on like there's the end of their second week, and they're out of here. And I'm like, well, I don't know. I just like. It's nice when they're nice, or like nice when they're good, or like, you know what I mean? Like it's nice when they make a positive impression I know.
I'll say that. Like I'll say something like that to chef too. And they'll be like, yeah, but then they're, like an idiot and screws everything up. And I'm like, oh, maybe I didn't get both sides of the story.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Like I'll go up. I recently, I said something to chef and she was like, yeah, that's because I have to get him help and he sucks and this and that. And I was like, oh, like I just take whatever the first story is and I'm like, that person's so great.
Nice. Yeah.
No, not always the case.
Yeah.
Not always the case.
I know I think one of my favorite people in the back of the house kind of got in trouble the other day, and I'm real nervous about that, but I love them. I don't know. I feel like I don't want to get them in trouble, but I think Taco. I love Taco. I love Taco so much. My favorite person.
I don't know. Which one is Taco?
Taco, really tall, new on the pastry.
Oh, Danny.
I don't know. Danny goes by Taco.
Yeah, but
his name's not Danny Taco.
No, but his name's Danny. Danny, he listens to this podcast actually.
Does he?
Yeah.
I love you. I wrote him a note the other day. I said, I love you, Taco.
He's the one that's he's always like doing the bread and the dough and stuff, right?
Well, I don't know. He's always on pastry when I'm there.
Yeah. Usually at night.
Yeah.
Yeah. He put in his 2 weeks.
No.
Yeah.
Taco, my favorite.
Yeah, he's going to open a restaurant. I think down the street. He's going to be like the sous chef or one of the executive chefs or something over there at some new restaurant that they're opening down on Lake, I think. Yeah, I know. He called me the other day and told me, and I was like, "What? Why did you do that?" And he's like, "I really like True Food, but he like wants to, broaden his horizons and try something new." So, but I was like, at least you're like quitting on good terms, so that if for some reason you don't end up liking, where you're going, you could always come back. And he's like, "Yeah, totally." So, but yeah, he put in his 2 weeks. I know. Taco, shout out to you. We love you. He's a listener.
I love Taco. I love Taco so much.
Yeah, him and Noah. Noah also.
I love
listens.
Noah. Noah left? Oh.
No. Noah's still there. Noah,
Okay, yeah, Noah's great too. Shout out Noah. Hi, Noah.
I know they are two of the ones that listen to the podcast. So shout out to them. But yeah, that's the only job. Also, did you know that Selma and Chef Juan are hooking up? I can cut this out, by the way. I'm not going to include this because it's like, it's only...
Wait, Selma and Chef Juan?
Yeah. I know. Isn't that like the most, weird...
I like them both for sure.
Yeah. But it's like, to me, their personalities, I don't even understand how they'd even have a conversation. Like, Selma's so high-strung, running around, like, all the time, just like...
Wait, how do you know this?
Taco. And I went to work and asked people, and they're like, how do you not know that?
I don't know anything at this restaurant. I'm like, literally, I never have juice. I mean, I also am not there full time, but...
Yeah.
I
just don't pay attention to things.
Yeah, well, because I'm very, like, I'm very... I think this is part of my, like, I would love to be better about this, but part about my block is, like, I feel... I try to be very segmented. Like, I'm there to do my job and leave. Yep. And I love the people. Like, I love you. I love people I work with. But I try to, like, it's hard finding a boundary there. Yeah. Well, I like them both, and so good for them.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I know.
Wow.
I was like,
fascinating. He's cute though. I get it. He's cute.
And Selma's cute, but like, I don't know why they just, in my mind, it's like, that's like mixing oil and water.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And he's like, so chill chef.
So
chill chef. Definitely like likes shit done and likes it to be good, but he's super chill, and that's very nice.
Yeah. But I was like, oh, okay. And like, I was talking to Sydney, and she's like, yeah, they flirt all the time. And I was like, oh, I know. I'm
fascinating.
But I'm the same way. I've worked in so many restaurants that at this point, like, I'm the same. I love everybody I work with, but I like to just go in, make my money, and leave. Like, I don't have the energy to, like, stick around and listen to, but I love listening. I love hearing it when somebody tells me.
Yeah, it's always interesting to be to hear about it.
Yeah, I'm always like, oh, really? I know.
Wow.
Isn't it? Now that when I work, I'm like watching them. I'm like, what's happening? So yeah, I know. I know. It's so weird to think about. I know. All right. What other stories? Do you have any stories that like you want to talk about specifically? Because I have a couple other segments, but they're like specific to certain things. So if you have some that you've been wanting to talk about, or something that you've had cooked up, or do you have any fun stories? Any I don't know, anything.
Do I have anything? Oh.
I mean, I'm sure that you do. What was it like working at like what were the guests like at the village one that you worked at, the village?
They were all just so drunk. Like
because
I was on the late night shift, and we were open till 4 a.m.
Would you serve alcohol till 4?
We did not serve alcohol. It was like a diner.
Oh, right. Okay.
Well, I mean, I love to drag. My best friend, who I just said her birthday is this Sunday, the night, I'm pretty sure it was the same night. Oh, I love to give her a hard time about this. And again, this is probably just for us, but that was the night of that Twilight thing, I'm pretty sure. She came in, and I like gave her an orange juice. Like, that's like, I was a new little server, and I'm like a rule follower, right? Yeah. And I don't like to hurt people's feelings, whatever. And I gave her this orange juice. That bitch did not even tip me. I'm like, I'm going to give you a free drink. I'm going to risk my job to get you an OJ, and you're not even going to tip me on it?
Was she in high school still?
No.
She was like same age as you? Yeah.
I mean, I know she's like, I didn't have any cash. It's like totally fine. But I just like, Caitlin, I'm never going to forgive you for it.
Did she work in a restaurant at all?
Hell no.
Okay, well, that's why.
She
They don't
finally
know.
did she hosted for like a second.
Yeah.
But I've only ever served at a restaurant, never managed, never hosted, never
Same.
nothing else, just straight on to serving.
I know. Same. I actually I lied on my resume to get serving jobs out here. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Like
Yeah.
you served for the first time in Los Angeles?
Yeah.
At a BJ's.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Yep. I had done everything. I worked at a bank for 3 years. I worked like sales.
Ooh, I wanted to be a bank teller when I first moved to Chicago. I was definitely interviewing to be a bank teller.
It was
I'm so glad I didn't bank tell.
It was cool. It was fine. I can see like how people can grow really quickly in like banking and all that stuff, and that's great. But I was like, it's not my vibe. But I was like, I really wanted like a serving job. I was like so over, working the 9 to 5 and like that whole thing. So I was like, I need a serving job. And my sister was always a server, and I was like, if she can do it, I can do it. And my grandma was like, just lie in your resume. Nobody's gonna know. So I just lied. I used friends as references, and I
think that's pretty common in the restaurant industry.
I found out it is. And like, especially getting a job at like a BJ's to start it off, because they're going to train you anyway. And to be honest, that was the best first job ever, because it was such a shithole that like I learned how to multitask and like be in the weeds all the time, that I was like, okay, well, I learned everything. So there I served, and then I bartended for a couple years too. But like I did everything there. I was basically a glorified manager without managing. And I was like, this is why I'll never want to manage. Like True Food wants me to be like a key holder. And I'm like, I don't want to do it.
You'd be good at it, but yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, I'm not. Like Chef keeps being like, you should do it. And I was like, no, because the second you say yes, all these things that they say to you before you do it go out the window. And it's like, now they have you by the balls, and they're like, okay, now you work this and this. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. But yeah, I lied. And then I worked at BJ's for 5 years.
Wow, that's a long time at one place.
Especially a place that's so shitty. So shit. But I made like the best friends there, and the restaurant camaraderie is different than any other job. Like I've worked every other job. There's no camaraderie like a restaurant camaraderie. And like, so I think I drank the juice, I was like, oh, I'm into this. And and then I quit there in May of 2019, I think. And I already had a job at Wood Ranch by then. And that was even, I hated Wood Ranch more than BJ's, but that's because I hated the manager. But yeah. And then quarantine hit, and I was like, what the fuck now? And I didn't even know True Food existed before I got the job there. I was just like, I was like applying everywhere, and I was like, oh, okay. And
Did you just walk into it, or was there a listing somewhere that you applied for?
I saw it on Indeed, and I applied to Pasadena, and I went in, I interviewed with, the Alex that's not there anymore.
Oh, I love him.
He was so nice. And then I interviewed with Danny.
Chef Danny?
No. Danny, the manager that was there.
Oh, yeah, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, like, they were both like Danny was like, I like you. And then, I interviewed with Danny first. She's like, come back for a second interview. I was like, cool. I came back. I interviewed with Alex, the other one that's not there. And he, I thought he liked me, but they never called me. And I was like, what the fuck, man? And so I was like, oh, well, the Santa Monica one's hiring. Let me apply to that one. So I applied to that one, and I interviewed with Justin, and he just hired me on the spot. And I was like, all right, cool. And then,
He interviewed at Santa Monica to work, and then he brought you to Pasadena.
Well, he interviewed me for Santa Monica, but I was like, I do live in the Valley,
Copy.
But they really needed people in Santa Monica. And this was like still while COVID was happening. So I was like, oh, the traffic's fine. I could totally do this. And then the traffic, I started like literally losing my mind.
Yeah.
I was like, my road rage went from like, to like, oh shit.
charts,
Yeah. And I was like, I need to transfer to Pasadena. And then I remember transferring to Pasadena and being like, uh-oh, did I make the right decision? Like, is this like, should I be here? Like, I don't, you know what I mean? I was like so self-conscious for like a week and a half. And I was like, I don't know if I should do this. I think I should go back to Santa Monica. Cause I don't know. Like, you know, when you get comfortable and like,
Totally.
I was only at Santa Monica for like 4 or 5 months, but I was like already acclimated. I knew everybody. I knew.
I don't think I realized that you made that transition like that.
And then I came up to Pasadena and like, everybody was nice, but it was like, I didn't know the dynamics. I didn't know like, you know, who's who, what's what, like who to look out for, this and that. And so I was a little bit intimidated, but then I was like, oh God, no, this is great. It's so much better than Santa Monica. It's so much more organized.
Oh
It's
yeah.
crazy.
I love our restaurant. I really do like our restaurant.
Yeah, it's great. That's why I don't want to do like the managing or anything. Cause I'm like, I love it. I don't want to hate it.
Yeah.
And if I start doing that stuff, I'll hate it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, they're best restaurant. They take care of us so well. Like they care about their staff, which is very rare to have in a restaurant, which is nice.
Yeah.
But man,
I feel like restaurants have been and maybe this is just the nature of the industry, but I have had I've had it's the only time I've like lost jobs. You know what I mean? Like my main restaurant job in college was a pizza place. So good. I still go back. Anthony's Cold Fire Pizza.
nice.
And there was a location in Orlando by the Millennium Mall. They had originally started in Fort Lauderdale, and Dan Marino is like partial owner. We had like a pizza called the Marino or something like that. Anyways, I was like I remember telling my mom like, serving is my favorite part of the day. Like I like it more than these college degrees I'm getting. You know what I mean? And being like, and my mom's definitely like, oh my God, my daughter is going to be whatever. But I even got that first serving job because I was like, I can use this no matter what happens. I can always go back to serving. And someday I'm going to be an actor. I'm going to need to do this. Like I did have the wherewithal as a young kid. But anyways, and because I went to school in Orlando, we had this thing called basically Universal Studios like gave the UCF kids like a free night one night. It was like just for the camp. I'm sure they do this for other colleges, but just for the campus. And if you get a ticket, you can go. And so my friends and I had all gone. I had been working there for like a year at least at this point. We'd opened the restaurant. We're working there, and I'm like in line in like Harry Potter world. And his name is DJ. His name was DJ. He was a busser, and then he became a server there. And DJ's like, "Oh, did you hear our kitchen closed or restaurant closed?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" And he was like, yeah, no, they came in today and told us all to go home. The restaurant shut down.
What? And you were devastated.
Well, I'm just like, what do you like? No notice.
Yeah.
That is how restaurants do. It's super common. But it was like one of those things I'm like in the moment, like having this thing and I'm just like, do you mean I don't have a job?
Yeah.
And that's how that went. And then the first restaurant I had, the only restaurant the first, I guess technically when I moved to Chicago, and I was like looking for bank telling jobs as well as restaurant jobs. And that's when I got my Buca de Beppo job. I worked there for like a little over a year and then they closed.
Wow.
They at least gave us notice.
Yeah.
And I was doing that. Like I had that was like my weekend job. And then I was working at Groupon at the time.
Yeah.
So luckily I like had a job, but
yeah.
That place closed and like the pandemic I was working at a restaurant when that shit shut down. I'm just like, man. But I think that's just like the nature of the game when it comes to
totally
restaurants.
Is.
Like whatever. But yeah, we're at Universal. I'm like, you mean I don't have a job anymore? What the fuck?
That's how I felt March 14th of 2020. I was like, I remember the day that we were like, shit's getting crazy. And I remember I had no money. I was like, I need to work these next couple days that I have coming up, blah, blah, blah. And then I had like $140 to my name when the pandemic hit. And I like and me and my friend were out that day. We were like just grabbing a drink and we saw like the news and we're like, fuck it. We're getting annihilated. And we did. We got fucked up the last day. And then, the next day
I was on a first date.
What? Oh my God! Did that continue? Like, are you dating that person now?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
But it did like the whole first year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy that you continued through COVID to be like, all right, let's see this.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was like, it's one of those things, like, retrospect, I'm like, why was I like, I mean, I don't know if you felt this way, but I'm just like, I can't believe I like went on a date with a stranger and then we like kissed and stuff. And then it was like, it wasn't until later I was like, oh, that's probably not.
That's how I feel right now with monkeypox.
What to do.
Yeah. Like, I'm scared to date right now because of monkeypox. I don't want to like get intimate with somebody. No. Because it's like, I mean, you can transfer, it's like skin to skin contact, but like, I'm like, I don't know what these people got. And I'm like, it's crazy. It's like, can we end this pandemic shit already? All right, let's, we're gonna do, I got 2 segments.
Yeah, let's do the segments.
Okay, so.
I don't think so. Are any of them trivia or games? No games? Okay.
No, but they're like, we did bartender. Heating up would be the kitchen, but we don't have to do that one. And then, so I'm going to do this one and you can answer it while I look up what I need to look up for the next one. Okay, here we go.
Dining out tip of the week.
Do you have a dining out tip that could help people who go out to eat that would, make it easier for them and the server for a better experience?
Yeah, I think like, obviously feel it out, but I think like, don't hold your server hostage at your table. If you need more time to figure something out or you're not sure about something, just ask them to come back in a minute or two. I feel like it's like not a big deal. And it's like, especially if it's busy, it's just so awkward to stand around and like wait for someone to make up their mind. Like, you feel rushed, they feel rushed. And so I just think like, like that's a perfectly fine boundary to say, hey, I'm not ready yet. Come back. And like, they probably will pretty close and pretty soon. That's it. Other than obviously just like being nice and whatever. I think servers are trying their best for the most part. You can tell when they're not, but
no, that's like a good one.
Don't hold them hostage.
Yeah.
They have a job to do and it's not just for you.
Yeah. I like that. I like that one a lot. Yeah, just be, understand that you're not the only table at the restaurant that person has to serve.
Right.
So being courteous and, if you like the people that are like, hey, we're ready. And then you stand there and they're like, okay, so what are you getting? No, we don't have time for that shit.
Yeah. And I also feel like it's also like, I know we sort of talked about this, but like sending food back does not necessarily make you a bad guest.
Right.
Like, I just want you to be happy. Like, you making it difficult to please you is tricky, but it's like, if you don't like it, just let me fucking know so we can make it better. I'm not offended. It's not my money.
Yep.
The restaurant, at least our restaurant, is very much about that. So I just feel like it doesn't need to be a bigger deal than is if you're not feeling what you're eating, let them know as soon as possible.
Yep.
So that they can fix it for you. Because I believe that most restaurants do want you to have a good experience.
Yes.
And like their food so you can come back. So if you're not feeling it, ask for something else. Like, no one's spitting in your food.
No, especially at our restaurant.
Hell no.
Yeah. I've said that multiple, I tell that to tables, like, I have no problem at all with people sending back food. I have no problem with that at all. Sometimes something doesn't come out right or it tastes different than you expected or whatever. Send it back. I would much rather you be at a table eating something that you enjoy rather than having to scarf down something you don't like and then blaming me for it.
Right.
So I had this happen just recently. I had a couple, they were super cool. And she ordered the Good Earth Kale Cobb and she got steak on it. And he got the sea bass. And as they're eating, he's like scarfing down his sea bass. And I was like, how is everything? And she was so polite. She was like, oh, she's like, the steak's like pretty chewy. And I was like, sometimes it comes out like that. And she's like, yeah. She's like, the salad's good. It's just like, yeah. And I was like, I didn't even let her say, take it back. I was like, well, let me take it back. Let's remake something for you. And she's like, no. I was like, no, I want you to eat something you want to eat. I don't want you to sit here and eat something you don't like. You're paying for it. What's the point of that? Let me get you something that you're going to enjoy. Therefore, the whole experience is going to be better for you. Mm-hmm. And we did. We got her the same salad. We just did salmon instead, and she loved it. So, yeah, people, don't be scared about sending back food. Do not be scared about sending back food. Send it back. Just be polite about it.
Yeah.
That's it. Just be kind and say, oh, this wasn't what I thought it was or whatever. And we'll fucking send it back. It's
just
not
be direct about it. You don't have to be like passive gross. Last time I had it, it was like, it's just like, you just don't like it today.
That's my biggest thing. I fucking hate it when people come in and they're like, well, last time. Well, guess what, bitch? Maybe the chef is different than last time. Like, I don't know what you're trying to. That's a good one, though. All right, I'm trying to find a Yelp review. Do you have any restaurant in LA that you hate?
A restaurant in LA I hate?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Okay.
Anything that you've had a really bad experience at? It could be anything.
Don't like eat out a ton. I had a bad experience at, okay. Ooh, nothing's coming to mind. Hold on.
It's okay. I mean, I can look one up. I usually like to go with something. Like, I tried to look up the Village Tavern. I don't think it's open anymore or whatever.
Village Inn?
Oh, is it the Village
Oh, no.
Inn?
Village Inn. Oh, yeah. Let's look. Let's do that. Because it's Florida, y'all. People be crazy in Florida.
Tallahassee, Florida.
Bath salts running amok.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Village Inn.
Is it with an...
VILLAGE and then space INN.
But there's...
Tell me the road. Center Drive, maybe?
There's two different ones. Let's see.
Not the one on Appalachia Parkway.
This one is Lon Blad Road.
Yeah, that sounds right. Tallahassee, Florida?
Yeah. The
Are you on Google Maps or you on Yelp?
off of it looks like it's off of Raymond Dell.
That's the one. Raymond Deal.
Okay.
Hell yeah. Ooh, first restaurant.
Okay, let's see if they've got some bad reviews. Because we go with the most negative.
Like, I had never, this is crazy town. Because, again, I'm from the South, right? Like, chicken fried steak. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Oh.
People would get chicken fried steak there.
Yeah, it's steak breaded. Or it's chicken breaded flattened, right? And then...
Is there no steak involved? I thought it was, like, steak wrapped in chicken and fried.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
There is chicken fried chicken. Is that just
Yeah.
fried chicken and fried chicken fried?
I thought chicken fried steak. No, I think you're right. I think it is wrapped. But I've also
I
seen
swear
it where
there's
they've
like
done...
2 layers where there is like a steaky looking layer and a more chicken.
You're right, but people out here, they'll do chicken fried steak where it's just steak breaded.
Interesting.
Instead of it being chicken wrapped in. Okay, let me find a...
God, I also don't love the smell of eggs, and especially back then was really sensitive to eggs. So it took me so long to get on board. And I'm like, still to this day, everyone's like asking for all these different egg types, and I'm like, I don't eat eggs. I'm so sorry, but I don't know what runny, how do you want them cooked?
Oh yeah, runny is the yolk
I'm
runny.
so sorry, I hit the mic with
Getting crazy.
Where's the
Crazy. Oh, he's probably in my bathroom. He likes to lay on my bath mat for some reason. Okay. Trying to find a good one. Okay, that might be one. That might be a good one. So basically the next and last segment that I have is where I look up a Yelp review, we read it, break it down, and then
hell yeah.
Decide. I think that's gonna have to be the one because they don't have a ton of.
No, not a lot of Yelp reviews.
They do. They have. Yeah, they only have 60. But that's all right. We'll use this one. That was. I just like them to be more than like one sentence.
Yeah.
Like this one. What was the issue? Okay. Okay. All right. Let's just we'll try this one. All right. Are you ready for it?
Yeah.
Yelp. Break. All right, this is my favorite segment, Yelp Review Breakdown. This is where we read a Yelp review, usually from a restaurant that my guest has worked at or been to or liked, and we read it and then we break it down and see if the person that left the review is in the wrong or if the restaurant's in the wrong. This one is coming from Cindy W. from Tallahassee, Florida.
I probably know her.
You probably
Not
do.
really. Tallahassee's not that small, but I thought it would be a funny joke.
It was
So lame.
This is Cindy reviewed this place on June 12th of 2018. And she rated it 1 star, and this is what she had to say. I had lunch at this Village Inn yesterday, 6/11/2018, in case we couldn't tell from the date above. I had the exact same meal that I'd had at the Village Inn.
We were just talking about people like this.
Yeah. And she's referencing another Village Inn, but at a different location.
Yeah.
So she said, I've had the exact same meal that I've had at the Village Inn on Park Avenue. It was the turkey meal with stuffing, mashed potatoes, gravy, and a biscuit. My biggest thing, too, is like being in this, like, you're just talking about grease. Like, we're just discussing grease at this point. You know what I mean? Like, you're just talking about fatty grease, and you're upset about it. Anyway, the meal at Park Avenue was wonderful. Fresh and with nice flavor. The meal at, is it Londonblad? Lomblad?
I don't know. Something like that. Lomblad?
Lomblad. The meal at Lomblad was horrible. The turkey was okay, though dry. The dressing was...
turkey's like... I guess turkey's sometimes...
Turkey's
dry,
hard.
It's like... It's always dry.
It is always dry. It's turkey. The dressing was not at all like the Park Avenue dressing. Okay. It was dense, wet, and tasted like it had passed its expiration date.
The turkey or the dressing?
I think she's still talking about the dressing.
It was dense?
Wet? The dressing was wet?
It typically is ladled onto the plate.
It's dressing.
Right.
It's gonna be wet.
Right.
Like that's... She said, I was actually a bit sick from it and didn't even finish the meal. She said, and now we're on the gravy. The gravy was dense. She loves dense.
Wait, dressing, like stuffing?
She said dressing. She said the dressing was not at all like the Park Avenue dressing.
Do you think she means stuffing? Do people sometimes call stuffing dressing?
I don't know. I don't think so. And to be quite frank with you,
it's not gravy though.
To be quite but dense and wet, that should be stuffing. Stuffing should be dense
and a little soggy.
The gravy was dense as well, I guess.
I think she just learned that word.
Yeah, she's just really trying to get it out there.
Am I using it right yet?
You say it 3 more times. And the presentation
server was dense.
Yeah. We haven't gotten to her yet. She said the gravy was dense and the presentation of the whole dish was very, very different from the lovely presentation at the Park Avenue location.
Where is Village Inn on a Park Avenue anywhere?
I don't know Tallahassee, but apparently it's nicer than Lomblad. My server was polite, but she said inattentive. Okay. Well, she hasn't learned the word unattentive yet. When most of my meal was still on my plate and I declined a to-go box, she didn't even ask me if the meal was okay. This is one of my biggest pet peeves when reading Yelp reviews. Are you a child?
Did you need permission
to
speak?
Yeah. Do I need to hold your hand to ask you if it was an okay meal? Bitch, speak the fuck up then.
I mean, like, I get it because I know places have like steps of service and like our restaurant, right? They're all about like if you go and you get the sea bass in Pasadena, it should taste just like the sea bass in Santa Monica. It should just taste the sea bass in Chicago. I'm here to tell you it does not work that way.
No.
And I mean, I know that's what they try. What is this? I can't.
I just hate it when people are like, they didn't ask me. Oh, well, maybe because like she had other things to do.
It looked like you were gobbling it up. You had some turkey.
Yeah. And like maybe, I don't know your eating preferences. Maybe you don't eat a lot. Maybe you like to take it home, or maybe you're just like a wasteful eater. I don't know. Like, it's not my job to like teach you how to speak. If you didn't like it, say you didn't like it. She said, after I got home and was still feeling a bit sick, I called the manager at the Park Avenue location. Damn, just go to the Park Avenue location then.
Called the manager?
At the different location though, not the one that she went and had a bad experience. She said I called the manager at the Park Avenue location to offer my positive feedback on the work he has done at that location to avoid the horrible experience I had when eating at this location.
Oh, Lord.
Of note is the fact that
that manager is probably just like, I have shit to do, lady.
Yeah, that manager's like, bitch, I don't care. Of note is the fact that this location had very few customers, while the Park Avenue / Magnolia location is usually busy. Coincidence? I think not.
Think not.
Okay, Cindy, you sound like she sounds like somebody who just likes to complain. And guessing from the style of restaurant that this is, by you saying it's like a diner, who the fuck complains about diner food? Who complains? Who has the time? Like, what do you you're complaining about the grease that you're eating.
Like, your meal was like probably $10
at most
for Thanksgiving meal.
for a Thanksgiving meal
On non-Thanksgiving, because what date did she go?
in the middle of June.
In the middle of June.
Yeah.
We know that turkeys aren't in season.
No, they're not. And why are you having a heavy ass meal like that in the middle of summer? Like, maybe you should take this as like a
Like, that restaurant's definitely the problem, but like, so is she.
yeah.
I think they deserve each other, quite
Exactly.
frankly.
It sounds like Cindy, you sound like you have nothing better to do. And like you're a bit sick. Oh, what do you mean like a bit sick? Like your stomach hurts because you just ate 14 pounds of lard? Like, of course it's going to feel upset.
Right.
Like, well,
If she had gotten a piece of pie, she probably would have liked it more.
yeah. If she would have just like different locations are not going to be the exact same. It's not going to come out exactly how you had it somewhere else just because it's the same name on the restaurant. You know what I mean? It's like, unless you're going to McDonald's, that's the only place you're going to find it the same because they freeze everything and then throw it on a fucking skillet. But for you to be so upset and to rate it 1 star because of what, dense? Because things were dense? Like, that's that kind of food. It's gonna be dense. Like, you literally got turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes, gravy, and a biscuit.
Yeah, it sounds like dense food to me.
Yeah. If it wasn't dense, I'd be concerned, honestly. I'd be like, maybe you're eating air. I just like, find something better to do. It's food. It's fucking food. Like, the fact that people take time, like, I get rating a restaurant based off of like service and, you know, I mean, I get basing it off of food too, but like, if it's all solely based on it because it's just not something that you liked, I don't know if that warrants a review when it's just like, it's your, I don't know. It, to me, I'm like, it just seems silly to like put that much effort into a review if all that was wrong was A, the server didn't ask you if your meal was okay,
Yeah.
and B, that you feel like the other location makes it better. Like, I don't. It's weird to me. This feels weird. Feels like Cindy just.
Yeah, and I would also argue that, like, I personally feel as though reviews should be handled in the same manner. I mean, this is like, I don't hold a strong opinion on this because I don't think about it, but today the opinion is that I think reviews for restaurants should be handled the same way that a review for a person would be.
Yeah.
You can't judge them on their one day or one interaction. I mean, you can.
Yeah.
But, like, go 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
If it was 3 times not good,
Mm-hmm.
give them some feedback.
Yeah.
But, like, I mean, I know that I get pissed off when someone gives me feedback on something I've been doing wrong, when it's like, but I haven't. You like, you know what I mean? Like, I just, like, right? It's like problems. Reviews should be based on long-term,
Yeah.
recurring
Yes.
issues
Yes.
that cannot be determined
In one.
in one time. Like,
Yeah.
maybe never go back if you just, like, hated it so much.
Yeah.
But then to go and, like, leave feedback guiding other people's choices
Right.
off of one experience.
Yeah. You're right. It does. Seem
Feels like a little unfair.
Yeah. I agree. And
yeah.
I think that if people are able to review restaurants and places of business, there should be a Yelp for just humans in general, because I would love to Yelp some of these people and be like, well, Cindy, you as a person, you sound like a fucking bitch. And maybe I don't want to, like, how come you get all this power to write a review to possibly like close a business down, but I don't get to review you as like a terrible person? Granted, I don't know if you're a terrible person, Cindy. Maybe you're really nice and you just, are picky about your food. I don't know. But yeah, I think I think you're right. I think it's like, unless you've gone somewhere more than once and you feel like now you're like, okay, that's the 3rd time I've gone. That was fucked up. every single time, then you're like, okay, here's the review. Here's what I think, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, off of a one-time thing, and then trying to compare it to a different restaurant, like of the same restaurant, just a different location. It's like it doesn't feel valid to me.
Right.
And
I know that's like a little bit flawed logic, right? Like, I mean, I'm not going to necessarily go to some vacation thing 3 times to then leave it a review, like whatever. But
right.
I don't know. But I'm like not necessarily trying to always put out some negativity like that lady is.
Yeah, that's true too. Like that's something I try to teach to my cousin because he's so negative, and I'm like, you get what you put out, and if you continuously put out negative shit, you're gonna get negative shit back. So maybe think about correcting the way you're looking at things. Maybe it wasn't dense, Cindy. Maybe you're just dense. Ever think about that?
Probably didn't.
You're like, I can't make comments. She's my mom's friend. No. Anything else? Any other stories that you have? Anything else that you want to talk about as far as serving goes?
I don't know. No, be nice to your servers. It can be a hard job.
It can be a really hard job. It's tough. People can be mean a lot. And
I feel it's just like it's just the customer I mean, I also think there's an aspect, right? Like sometimes our job is to deal with difficult people. Like I get that. I accept that. I know it's frustrating when I'm like, you're obviously not mad at us. It's just the most convenient thing to be upset with.
Right.
But I also I feel like I'm working on myself, work on yourself. Your problem isn't that this food's not ready.
Right. Yeah. You're just mad about something else. Like that happened.
Like when you are rejecting 3 people trying to solve your problem, like that's.
Yeah. Yeah. That happened the other day. One of our servers had a table who, I guess this woman comes in often, and apparently she's a nightmare every time. I don't think I've ever served her, but she came in with like her daughter and her daughter's friend, or maybe her other daughter, I'm not sure. And I didn't serve them. I just saw the end interaction, and the mom like came up to where our computers are, and she was like, I don't want to pay for the same meal twice. The guy told me basically what happened is she ordered salmon, and because she didn't specify and she just said she ordered salmon, the server rang in our salmon dish and it came out, and she's like, this is not what I ordered. She's like, I wanted the ancient grains with salmon, but she never said that because she's a fucking moron. And so the server was like, okay, well, I can get that for you. And, whoever had brought the food, the first salmon dish, she had told that to them as well. Excuse me. And the food runner, whoever brought it, was like, well, do you want to keep it? Because otherwise we're just going to throw it out. And she's like, yes, of course we'll keep it. So they kept the dish. They got their other dish. And then at the end, the woman was mad that the server forgot to take off the salmon that they didn't order but kept anyway and took home. And the woman was like, well, the guy told me that we could keep it and he wasn't going to charge us for it and blah, 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 blah. And like just attacking this server. And the server did such a good job of being like, well, I assumed because you kept it on the table and you were eating it that you were going to pay for it, blah, blah, blah. And the daughter that was with this woman was like, just because you're fighting with me doesn't mean you could be rude to other people. And her mom snatches like the car ticket out of her hand and storms off. And the girl was like, I'm so sorry about that. She's just mad and she thinks that she can take it out on servers and that's not right. And I was like, you must be a server, huh? And she's like, I am. And she's like, and that's not right. And I was like, damn.
That's one of my other tips. If you were a fucking server and you tell your server that you are a server, you better fucking tip nicely. Like, I'm not saying even extra. And also, if you are going to come into your own restaurant, don't fucking do it unless you're ready to drop at least an extra $10. Like,
at least.
Don't do it. I learned that less. Like that is just that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
And
I've had that happen, not at True Food. When I've served people that work there, they've tipped me too generous, honestly. But I've had that happen at BJ's where I would work like the cocktail area, and there was this specific like 2 people that I worked with, who I was friends with, would come in, get, food and drinks and have half their stuff comped and tip like less than 20%. And at one point I was like, I'm not serving you guys anymore. And they're like, why? I was like, because you guys tip like shit. I literally said that. And they were like, what? And I was like, yeah. I was like, if I'm running around serving all these other people, you're an extra table I have to take care of. Take care of me. I'm fucking hooking you up with shit, and you're gonna tip me $4 on a $25. Get out of here.
You know how it works, and that's how you know how it works when you're on the inside doing the serving.
Yep.
You know how it works when you're the guest. I'm probably not going to go eat at True Food Kitchen because I feel like I'm always worried I'm not tipping generously. Like even if I'm being generous, I'm like, is it generous enough?
Right. Am I going to be talked about later?
That's just it is because we do talk about it. You think that you've come in and not tipped me well. I mean, I definitely don't like I really try not to talk too much shit, but
I talk plenty of shit. So
it ain't cool.
Yeah. And if you're a server, maybe not like you don't work at the same restaurant and you're eating at, but you are like, don't worry, I'm a server, I get it. If you don't tip at least 20%, you're a piece of shit. Like that's a fucked up move.
And then stop complaining about you not getting 20% at work.
Exactly. Because not all servers deserve it. I'll say that right now. Not all servers are great at what they do, but there are some that are really great that deserve way more than 20%.
Right.
And that's another thing, people. 20% is the start. It is not the max. It is not where you are like, only if it was phenomenal. 10 to 15 is when you've had a shitty time. Do not start my tip at 15%. I do not give you 15% service. Start it at 20 and go from there. Because that shit is pissing. Lately, people are like, 10 to 15, right? No, motherfucker. It's 20%, if not more than that. And if you're not tipping that, if you're going out to a restaurant and you're a person that doesn't tip 20%, I don't like you. You're an asshole. That's bottom line. And you can come to my restaurant and scream in my face. I don't give a fuck. You're a piece of shit, especially in these times right now. Especially right now, if you're coming out to a restaurant not tipping 20%, you are literally what's wrong with humanity. And I hope you get diarrhea. That's how I feel about that.
Mm-hmm. Off your favorite meal you've ever had.
Yes. And then it's ruined for you forever. All right, guys, that's been the podcast. Jess, do you have anything to plug? What do you have coming up? What's your Instagram for people to follow you?
Jess B_yourself. Isn't that funny? Is that cute? Am I inspiring you? It's just a play on words,
Yeah, I like it though. Just be yourself. Do you have any projects coming out? Anything we should watch you on? I know you're on the Sephora website now.
Oh,
Your
geez.
face is on there. You could catch her on the
8Y
Mick.
is my shade. If you're an 8Y, we could be the same shade. I'm pretty sure it's 8Y. I don't think I have anything coming up. You can catch me on Minx, an HBO Max show.
Yeah.
And more to come on your TV soon.
Oh, exciting.
Or at the restaurant.
Yeah.
Maybe someday I'll hit up a stage with Heather.
Yeah. Oh, maybe she'll get on stage and do some stand up. All right. I like that. Well, we'll make sure to tag your Instagram in the link for the episode.
Sweet.
But other than that, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks for having me. This was so fun.
It was so fun. Everyone be kind to your servers. Goodbye.
Bye.